Hey guys, after a long time, we're gonna do some market breakdown. It's kind of been really long time since I did that. So we're gonna get into it right away. We're gonna start with GJ. So GJ is my main pair, as you all know. For those who don't know, GJ is my main pair, so I usually trade GJ. Now, recently I had gold as well, but we're gonna see about it because of the recent tensions in the Middle East again with Iran and US and Israel. It's a lot of uncertainty at the moment. As well, it goes for GJ as JPY safe haven currency, right? So we're gonna see about that how Japanese yen is going to react to it. I'm gonna show you the technicals later on. You're gonna see where is that in the terms of price and technical. So starting with GJ, I'm gonna give you the bias, general direction. So monthly time frame, we're slowly ending the month of June as of this moment. Just a week left. So basically, monthly candle closes bullish, and I think we're gonna continue even higher, all the way to those highs, even to the major high. As you can see here, I have a weekly S. You're gonna see why. But yeah, I do expect some minor pullbacks on the lower time frames. But definitely I'm very bullish on GJ for the upcoming month as well. So going on the weekly, you're gonna see now. So weekly time frame, we have a weekly supply, or if you want to call it order block. It's right on the spot, right on the 203 price number, and 20ish in this case, but I would use 00 in this case. It's right on there. As you can see, jumped out. It's only Monday, but weekly time frame, like weekly candle, is very much bullish, right? So we jumped out of this resistance finally after several weeks, even months in this case. We finally broke up, which is cool. Now we just need some sort of pullback on lower time frames, which you're gonna see on the later on, like in 5 minutes. So the next target is definitely going to be 199. 0.00. This is the weekly resistance. As you can see, if we can break that above, then obviously the weekly supply is going to be met, right? But obviously it's going to be needed like quite some times, given the fact that we are entering the summertime market. But with the tensions as of this moment, maybe we're gonna have a very volatile market. But yeah, we're gonna see, right? We're gonna adapt and react at the current situation, what the market is going to present us. So weekly bullish, monthly bullish. Let's head back to the daily. So the daily time frame, as you can see, we broke up this range. We have 3 consecutive bullish days. So Thursday, Friday, and now Monday. We shorted down last week. It was 3 days of holding this trade. It was massive, but it's okay. We rejected at 198. As you can see here, 198.0, we rejected it as of this moment. So point of interest for my continuation longs is basically 1960, like down there. You're gonna see on H4Y. But in this case, on the daily time frame, it's clearly seen that we have a liquidity down there, right? We have a liquidity trend line, a lot of weeks that can be purged in the future. Oops, let's do that. That can be purged in the future, but when it comes to this, we're gonna see it like technically, okay? But so far we are bullish. H4. Now let me show you. So why this level? So H4, we have a great resistance here that we had a false breakout. This was, I think, last week that I shorted down from that point. So we have a massive impulse movement to the upside that broke the structure as marked there. We stopped at 1980. We are currently facing the resistance here and rejections. So I do believe that we can, if this level is going to hold, I do believe that we can, have a retracement down, and this is 200 pips. So it's going to be a nice trade if this happens, but we have to see the confirmations on the lower time frames now. So H1 time frame is building up the range, right? So we need a range, we need a pause in the market to kind of gain the volume inside of it, and then we have a whether we're gonna have retracement or we're gonna have a continuation higher. So if I scale down to the 15 minutes, we had this nice head and shoulder pattern. We broke the structure. We had a break of structure there. We have retracement up. We kind of respected, pushing down again, pushing back up. So currently in the range, we have 1, 2, 1, 2, right? In the range. So I'm going to keep my eye on, I'm gonna keep my eye on what is going to happen in this area. So between this region and this region, I'm going to keep an eye on in this area what will happen, whether we're gonna spot some setups tomorrow forming or Wednesday. We're gonna see about that. But definitely interesting both in longs and both in shorts. Now it just depends how price is going to respect and react at those certain areas, right? So let's say, for instance, for example, let's say if the price comes back up, test it, reject it, kind of create a setup there on the lower time frame. So it just can be 15 minutes, 10 minutes, even 5 minutes for what I care, right? Setup is setup. And if the higher time frame suggests that price on GJ is going to fall, then cool. If not, we're going to the longs, right? The most important part is to know your bias. And if you know your bias, you're gonna know what to look for and where to position yourself, right? So this is area to be observed and down below, right? Now, going to the JPX, which is the index like DXY, going on the daily, you're gonna see. So on the daily time frame, we are currently at major support on JPX. We are facing the big ass rejection at the moment. So what can happen in actually 2 hours for my time zone, new daily candle is going to form, and this is going to be the whether we're gonna continue or reject again, because it can happen. Like usually takes 3 days to reject some sort levels on the daily time frame before it reverse, or we're gonna just push higher. So we're gonna see what will happen tomorrow. This is important. Check the JPX. Pay attention to this level. If we're gonna face some bulls, then obviously GJ is going to fall. If not, we're gonna continue higher on GJ in this case, right? So it's just what will happen, and we're gonna spot. So we have a equal highs in this case. We kind of gapped. Obviously we gapped because of the US attack on Iran this weekend. And if you can spot, usually attacks happens on the weekend, right? Usually, because everything else is already priced in beforehand, technically speaking. So that's why usually attacks happens on weekends, and we cannot do anything about it. Okay, we have a, let me mark that up as well. We have internal break of structure. We had a retracement up, but I don't see a setup just yet there. It's price action to my liking is not very good in this case. So we're gonna observe whether we're gonna continue bullish or we're gonna continue bearish in this case, all the way down to 196, so which is obviously going to be 200 pip trade, which is awesome, right? So guys, this is going to be our regular time. I mean, we're gonna do that on Sundays. Depends whatever happens on weekend basically, but usually it's going to be a Sunday. If not Sunday, then Monday, like always. Okay. Let's check the news just to see what's up. So we had a plenty of news today. In particular, I don't care about the news, but it's nice to know when something happens. So we have GBP tomorrow in the London session, and in the New York session we have GBP. We have a Powell later in the day as well. So Wednesday CPI for AUD, and again Powell speaking later in the US session, and then Thursday we have GBP again. So a lot of news for GBP. Why? Because look, technically we are at the certain levels on high time frames, such as 198 and 199, right? So that's why we have a lot of news for GBP. So we are packed. But anyway, let's see what happens over the night. Let's revisit this in the morning. I'm going to give you some clues during the week about the bias of the day, so daily order flow. And if you have a correct bias, then obviously you can spot a setup on the lower time frames. Now, if you cannot spot a setup, if it's too messy, then just don't trade. Okay, just stay off. Okay, this is the best you can do to protect your capital and your accounts, to not, you know, make unnecessary losses. Okay, so guys, thank you for watching. If you're not subscribed yet on my YouTube channel, it's starting to grow. Please subscribe and leave a like. Thank you. Bye bye.